Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerd for No Reason podcast. I am one of your fantastic hosts, Mark.
And I'm a co-host as well. What is up? I am Raven. How's it going? What are we doing here today? We're here to chit-chat away.
Yeah, we are.
Ugh. The vocal fry on that was not... It's not pleasing to even myself. Good lord.
Oh, really?
Sometimes it hits and then I'm just like, oh. Who is she? Who is this other person that lives somewhere in there?
Raven, exactly.
What is this vocal fry? How's it going, my man?
It's going good, man. It's been a very busy week. Next week's going to be equally as busy. We've been doing kids stuff, like Alice's play debuted this week, and she's been going nonstop hard in the paint for that. And like she does every time, I think it correlates every time with her show, coming out in its opening weekend or whatever. I think her body just gives up the ghost because she's sick, and she's fighting.
No.
She's fighting through. So I'm just like, kid, man. Like, I know she's putting in so much work.
Yeah.
And literally for the last 2 weeks, she's been at school every single day, including Sundays, where they come and rehearse. And they stay super late, like during the weekday. They're staying there till like 7:30, 8 o'clock. She come home, goes right to bed, wakes up, goes to school. And she did that for like 2 weeks straight. And next week she's got some more stuff going on with drama and chorus. And I'm just like, dude, stop.
No.
And then literally after next week, there's nothing.
And then?
Yes,
and then it's summer. It's summer break, Dad.
No, it's crazy. It's insane.
She out there living that real world life. Where
I don't know. At least we get the weekends off.
Hey, man, I used to not. Fun times.
What about you?
I was pretty chill weekend.
I saw you got your pictures back on the boys.
Oh, they look so good.
Yeah, you went and got a professional photo shoot. I can't remember if we talked about it on the show or not. You went and got a professional photo shoot done for the dogs.
Yeah.
And you post them on...
post them in the Discord.
Yeah. And they're just fantastic. They're great.
I know. I'm so excited because we're going to use them as like Mother's Day presents as well to like give Chris's mom like a little collage of like Havoc, and then for my grandmother I'll just give all the boys a cute little picture frame, and they'll both just be like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever because these are our grandbabies. But yeah, it just looked so cute. I just kept like scrolling through them and just being like, Chris, but look at this one. Oh, but wait, this one here. And he's just like, yeah. We're watching something. Can you stop? Like, no, I can't stop. I have to look at how cute our boys are. Mudslide currently has like a little, we don't even know what he did. It literally just started yesterday. And he like has just been limping. He's got like one of his paws on his front foot. Just like, he's like, ow, Mom, it hurts. And he'll literally just sit there and like stick his arm out weird. And I was like, what are you doing? So I've like been looking in his paws and his little paw pads and the like webbing and stuff. I cannot find anything. Nothing I touch hurts him, but he just keeps limping. And I'm like, okay, but you're still running around, still running amok. But he's been extra like, I need cuddles and everyone to baby me. So I'm just like, maybe he just like heard it when he jumped off like the bed or something.
He might just be faking it. Like, I know if I do this, they'll shower me with attention.
It's so funny you say that because the last time that he like he did hurt his paw for a little bit, not that long ago. Um, and I super babied him because I was like, "Oh, my slide." And he was like, "Oh, mom's being super nice to me." And so eventually, I guess it's like kind of stopped hurting, or at least enough that when like he was with Chris, he wasn't like putting on the bit. But then Chris saw him literally see me walk into the room and instantly pick up his paw and look at me sad. So he does understand it, that if he plays hurt, mommy will definitely baby you.
Yeah. He's trying to get that attention.
Oh, yeah. But I think he's also just like, I can also maybe get snacks from them too, because they'll feel so bad for me. Boy. Ah, silly pups. But then the other two have just been good boys. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you by any chance been following this Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole
Oh
beef?
God. I didn't even know. I don't understand the like J. Cole part. So I know that like Kendrick said something, then Drake snapped back, and then Kendrick like immediately was like, "Here's a fresh new release." Like
So,
I put 2 minutes into it, and here's a diss track. I don't know anything about like J. Cole getting into
so,
this.
so it started off. It started off. I don't know how in the hell J. Cole got into it either, but all I know is one day I wake up and my TikTok algorithm is like, "Oh my God, Kendrick Lamar dropped a diss track with Metro Boomin making beats," and I'm sure if there's someone listening to this, they're probably like, "What in the hell are you even talking about, crazy man?" Um, and so I went and listened to it. I was like, "Okay, cool, man. Like we got us a little beef going on. This is all right." Um, and Kendrick Lamar dissed Drake and J. Cole, and J. Cole shot
Oh,
back,
okay.
and literally the day after he dropped that track, he was on stage and was like, "I'm out. You know what? I ain't even gonna get involved." He was like, "I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody. I didn't want to. I'm gonna pull that song off of the platforms. I
Oh,
I'm out." And everyone was clowning him. It was like, "Oh man, how dare you come on stage and apologize and all this and rap this and blah 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 blah. You know, say it with your whole chest." All this other stuff. People were really just dogging J. Cole.
dude.
And then Drake came out with something, and somehow Rick Ross got involved. I don't even know.
What?
Rick Ross turned the song around in like an hour. The song dropped, and an hour later, Rick Ross had a response. It was the wildest thing I'd ever seen. And then Drake came back and said something and dissed Rick Ross and Metro Boomin and said, "Go make some beats, you sorry motherfucker," and all this stuff. And then then the wheels fell off. Okay,
Oh.
Kendrick came back with another song. Hold on a second, I have them in order here.
Okay.
And on one of the songs. So and then on one of the songs, um, uh, Drake used an AI Tupac in the song, and like the beginning, like
What?
talking trash, and everyone was like, "Whoa, stop!
What the
Absolutely not!
fuck?
Like
No.
you crossed the line." So he immediately turned the whole culture against him instantaneously. And then I think this was when Kendrick dropped a song called Euphoria, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, this is a good diss song." And then at the same time, Chris Brown is beefing with uh
Bro.
Future or something.
Oh,
This is a crazy time for rap beef.
what is
So
happening?
so I think Drake responded with something to Euphoria, and Kendrick was like, "All right, well, I guess I gotta put on my big boy shoes," and he dropped 616 in L.A., Then there was Drake released Family Matters. All right, so now we're getting into this weekend. I think it was Friday night, in the middle of the night, Drake dropped Family Matters. An hour after it dropped, Kendrick was like, I got you. Here's Meet the Grams. And then, just later on in the day, because F him, that's why, he released another song called Not Like Us. At the same time, Metro Boomin, who Drake dissed, who produced one of the first tracks that, ignited this beef a couple weeks ago, he released just an instrumental called BBL Drizzy. And I think he's the first person ever to release an entire instrumental diss track. And everyone was like, hot damn, this is great.
What?
It is so wild. We have not seen a rap beef like this, I think, literally since this involved, like this vicious, since Eminem 50 Cent versus Ja Rule back in the mid-2000s. I mean, I dare say, I'm speaking big here, but I dare say that this might be a big hit for Drake. I think I think he might have lost a lot of cred. It's wild.
That's fine with me.
So
there's a lot of allegations that have been going on for a good while with Drake. So it's not like I've really followed him in any way. I just, it's just the thing where it's like, oh, this is what so-and-so is doing. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. But no, that's so funny that you're like, that you say that, because I saw a tweet that was literally like, this could only happen in the rap community, because you wouldn't see 21 Pilots diss tracking over Imagine Dragons. Can you imagine discourse around that? It really does happen a lot in rap though, because
rap's the only thing I can think of. I cannot picture another genre where they talk trash on music. Like country, they kind of throw barbs back and forth, but it's usually in interviews or something. Travis Tritt is not making a diss track about Garth Brooks going, "You got friends in low places because you're a piece of shit."
Yeah.
Which now I want to hear that.
That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. But no, there was some beef going on. It's still a big thing, but between Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes.
That
was a good one too.
Oh my God.
2024 has delivered for us.
Stupid ass song that Nicki Minaj just put out there, that Bigfoot song that she did, and even her own fans were like, girl, this is so bad. I was like, okay, so I listened to Megan's, and then I listened to Nicki Minaj's, and I was like, I couldn't even make it through the first minute. It was so bad. Oh, it was so bad. Homegirl fell off for real.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But
it's been interesting.
At the same time, I mentioned that Chris Brown and I think it was Future got into a beef. And hold on, I'm gonna look it up because I want to
get your facts straight.
Yeah, I got.
We have to start saying allegedly. Oh,
all right,
okay.
So it was Chris Brown and Quavo from the rap group Migos, and they got to a beef, and Chris Brown was like, "No, I want all the smoke. I want yes," and he started releasing text messages and stuff like, "No, I'm in LA. Show up to the house. Here's the address. If you're gonna do something, do something."
Oh.
And Quavo was like, "No, you're gonna show up. You're gonna have the cops arrest me." He's like, "No, just me and you. I won't be no one here. Just come on, man. We can handle this business right now." And Quavo apparently never showed up. Chris Brown, I don't like Chris Brown, but my man made one hell of a diss track, just phenomenal, called "The Weakest Link." And I'm like, we are in the absolute golden age. The Renaissance. There we go. The Renaissance of diss tracks. We haven't had them this good in a long time.
Dude, can you imagine someone doing like a diss track to Taylor Swift?
I,
Uh,
I love it. I want
the
it so bad.
clapback that Taylor would try and give, and her fans would absolutely eat it up, but it would be so stupid. I'm I don't think that I've actually heard any of the music off of her new album, which I'm like thankful for because I don't have any friends that are like huge Swifties that I hang out with. But I keep hearing like little sections of quotes from some of the songs, and I'm like, what are you doing? Some of them are just wild. Anyways, uh,
Yep.
I'm just over the whole like Taylor Swift movement. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if anyone that listens to this is a huge Swiftie, but
Oh man, you better hope the
it's not
girls
me.
don't hear this.
Okay, I'll watch out. I'll bring beef when I see him next.
They're gonna be so mad.
Can't
But no, we
believe.
we were listening to it the other day in the car, and Alice said it's the same. It's the same cereal, just different packaging. And I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah,
She's like, "All the songs sound the same."
yeah.
And it came on the Spotify, and then another song came on the Spotify. Like about 30 minutes later, I was like, "Holy crap! It does sound the same." So, yep.
Shocking. Yeah, yeah. It's fine. We can do without her.
Yeah.
Are you
Uh,
ready to do? Do you have anything else?
no, no.
Anything
I was
else on
just
the
about to
board?
ask if you were ready.
Oh, I guess we know what that means. Nobody's ready. The real
I'm
sign.
ready.
Yeah, let's get it, dude.
Oh
While I pull
wow.
up my nuts. My nuts? My notes?
Yes. Oh no, you're nuts. You're
I
nuts.
mean, you know.
So, so this week we talked. I feel like we needed like a good course correction from last week. Like we needed like a really good, fun movie that wasn't Fast and Furious rock related. Um, and let's see, we're like 2 or 3 weeks now away from um, our Fast and Furious thing, and we've talked Scooby Doo, Hundreds of Beavers, and this week I feel like we're on to something. Um, uh, have you seen The Mummy before?
Yeah.
Okay, all
Oh,
right,
yeah.
good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's times when I take for granted like there's some movies you just haven't seen, and I'll get to talking and be like, oh yeah, this was such a great movie, and you'll be like, I've never seen it before.
Oh,
So,
yeah. I mean,
so
that's fair. But no, The Mummy is like one that my grandfather used to watch all the freaking time. He had like a very select, like, section of movies that he would basically just keep on a constant rotate. Like, it was like all of the Star Wars movies, um, like the Mummy movies, Lord of the Rings. When The Hobbit eventually came out, The Hobbit also joined in there, and just like a few other movies. But it was like, bro, how many times are you gonna watch this? And he just, if I had asked him to watch this with me, he probably would have been like, yeah, I'll watch it. But my man's sick right now, so. But I honestly, like, considering the fact that I have definitely seen it however many times, I didn't remember anything from it except for, Brendan Fraiser.
yeah,
Yeah. So, Mark,
yes,
what did you think of this week's movie?
I love this movie. It is so much fun. It is. It is such a good. I think we've talked about. I've used this term a lot, but it is a great swashbuckling movie. It is so. It is to me. This is like the legit spiritual successor, or at least this movie in the franchise is. Maybe the second one too, but it is like the spiritual successor to Indiana Jones. You have your guy, and he's missing everything but a
Yeah.
whip. He's charming and charismatic, and he's funny and he's tough and he is scared and he's all these things that make a really fun, good character. And he's surrounded by all these other fun, good characters. And you know what we're doing and why we're doing it and all of this. And even though the CG is kind of meh because it's 1999 and they're like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
throw CGI locusts in there. The practical effects still like hold up. Even a lot of the CGI, watching it this time, I'm like, it's still great. The bugs still freak me out. And it's great. It's great. I'm not upset that we watched it. I will probably watch it again soon. Raven, what did you think of The Mummy?
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. And like the whole, because I definitely was paying attention to some of the CGI stuff, especially when you're like looking at the mummy when he's not like fully transformed. But like some of it did, for its time, look really cool. Like I was telling Chris that I really enjoyed like the weird water effect thing that they were doing in like the pit of what I'm gonna call souls, I guess. I don't know what it was. It was some sludge looking stuff, but it looked cool. The beetles like scurrying so fast. I was like, this actually looks pretty good. I love Brendan Fraser. He's, like you said, he's just like a good, handsome kind of goofball. Yeah, I'm gonna give this movie. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. It's not bad.
Okay. Yeah.
It definitely like is something like I feel like you can just throw it on in the background and just continue to watch it like as you're like doing household chores or something like that, and you're just like, I can keep up. It's cool.
Oh, this is a perfect background movie. I definitely feel like you could come into this movie at any point and
you just know what's going on.
right. If you've seen it
Absolutely.
once, you can absolutely come to it at any point and be like, okay, cool, I can pick it up from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic background movie. Very, very much like one of my favorite movies, The Lost Boys. If you've seen it, you're just like, yep, cool, this is where I'm picking this up. If it's on that TNT loop, I'm probably going to watch it like 10 times this weekend and not be upset, but I'm going to pick it up different in a different spot every single time I watch it.
That's what happened with me when I would watch Grease on TV. I would literally just be like, all right, whatever. Anytime I saw it on, I'd just start watching it because that's fun. Anyways,
So let's get into it. I love that a lot of set pieces, for the most part, they're all practical. And we start off with kind of a big, sweeping, like kind of epic scene in the beginning where, we have the French legionnaires fighting whoever they're fighting. I can't remember the exact thing. But, we got this big horse battle that is legitimately like hundreds of people on horses and falling down and doing all like practical effects. That's awesome.
yeah. No, when like that first scene, well, I guess it's technically like the second scene because, we watched the whole like crazy Egyptian shit first, which also was really pretty in itself. I really liked all the like gold
Oh
stuff
yeah, that's
that they
right.
had going on.
That's right. I
thought it was
jumped
really
ahead. I
beautiful.
completely forgot the ancient Egypt scene, not
Yeah.
the
Where you
battle.
find out that the king's mistress is over there been fooling around with his priest.
And she walks in there with her whole booty hanging out.
She's just like, what's
What are
up?
we doing? This is a PG-13 movie.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Interesting.
Hold on a second. I got it pulled up right here. Let me see.
I would feel like it would be PG-13, honestly. 'Cause there
yeah, it's
wasn't
PG-13.
anything like huge, I guess, besides that. Good for her. But that whole like first scene was I did not like watching all the like mummification things and like just thinking about how they used to like do all that stuff is so insane as compared to like modern technology of like how we take care of bodies and whatnot.
Dude, it's the scarabs for me. It's the scarabs. I hate them. I hated them then. I hate
Yeah.
them now. Whoever animated those needs a legitimate like raise. I hope
They
they're
did good
still
on it.
busy
Yeah.
doing stuff because they somehow animated those things legitimately perfect and terrifying.
It's actually really funny because as they were like wrapping him up and then putting him in the coffin, I looked at Chris and was like, my toxic trait is that I definitely think I could get out of those bindings. And he goes, yeah, you're not going to think that in a second. And they start pouring in the scarabs. And I was like, yeah, no, never mind. I don't want to be in that situation. I take it back. I don't think I could make it. But, yeah, when that scene where they're all like fighting and stuff, I looked at Chris and I was like, I don't understand. What, why is Brendan Fraser the only white guy here? What are we doing? What's this fight all about? And he was like, territory, stuff like that,
Well, I mean,
I think they do technically like describe what happens, and I just probably zoned out for a second.
well, I think it was because he was part of like the French Legionnaires, which I guess in the 30s it wasn't uncommon for Americans if they've served in our military, if they got stationed overseas, they would team up with like Legionnaires and stuff like that and fight with them. So that's not completely, because everyone else was, or at least on that side, I think, was white. I think they were supposed to be French. And they were fighting for whatever they were fighting, I guess, to get into Hamanoptera. Which, great set piece. Oh my God, was such a good... This whole movie is just filled with great set piece after great set piece. And nowadays it would all be CGI.
Yeah.
There would not be legitimate terrifying caves. Yeah. Great set pieces. God, I want all this stuff to be real. I got a Goonies feeling as they're like walking around Hamanoptera, and as they're walking around with like little torches and stuff, I'm like, man, if this thing had a big old lake with a pirate ship in it, it would be perfect. No.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked all the like cool effects that they were doing with like the sand and stuff and the way
Yeah.
that it would like almost try and like catch you and stuff. It kind of reminded me of like Aladdin and like some parts, like especially the beginning when it was like, oh, you go into like the little cave area. I don't know. I was, and then I started talking about One Piece to Chris. I was like, oh, this reminds me of when they're fighting Crocodile and he could turn into giant dust winds and blah 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 blah. And Chris was just like, yeah, I was like, Oda probably like I just started saying some stupid shit. And Chris was just like, what are you doing? I was having a good time when I was watching this. I felt really bad for Homegirl when she's over there trying to do the whole like book stacking thing. That whole first scene, or like that scene, made me like cringe so hard because I was like, no, you didn't have to knock all those bookcases over. Like that's like a fear I have, is that I'm gonna like accidentally like mess up something and it's gonna be like one of those domino effects where everything falls around. I think I would actively cry in a situation like that.
This was kind of a trope back then, where it's like, oh yeah, we have this
Clumsy girl.
yeah, this
that's
clumsy girl,
smart.
and
Yeah.
she's so ditzy, but she's gonna end up being like one of the heroes of our story, and yeah, it was very tropish for the time. It's weird watching it, 25 years later, and you're like, this would never fly today. But she does end up getting. I mean, she starts off as like this ditzy person, but she does kind of get some agency towards the end of the movie, as even after like she knocks down all these bookcases and stuff, that guy is like, "Why do we even hire you?" She's like, "Because I'm the only one who could read your stuff. I'm the only one who could read
Yeah.
like whatever these languages." She says,
Yeah, when she clapped back with him at that, I was like, yeah, girl, hold your ground. Be like, who else is doing this? Her brother, though.
"Her brother."
Man. What?
Yeah,
Jonathan? I think that was his name.
Jonathan. Yeah,
That guy was a piece.
well, again,
Piece of work.
we're in trope territory, which is kind of, I guess, maybe why this movie works so good is because each was like, okay, we need a clown. Who's going to be our clown? Well, it's going to be the brother. So, here's the brother character. Again, who does kind of get some agency by the end of the movie, who's, he's not just a buffoon the whole time.
Man. Some of his scenes, though, I was like, sweetie, I get it. Pick up the pace. We are in crunch time, especially like that part where at like the end where he's supposed to be like reading the book and he's like,
Yes.
it's got like a bird or something on there. Oh, that makes sense. I was just like, bro, stop. If I was in like a situation like that, obviously I wouldn't be in a situation like this because whatever. Anyways, I think I would legitimately like scream and be like, why are you fucking around? But I think I would just be so upset with it.
Now is not the time, you asshole.
Man.
Don't climb into the sarcophagus and play puppets with the skeletons.
That's so disrespectful to the dead. Just start screaming. Anyways.
So when we get to the prison scene and we're introduced to Brendan Fraiser and he's all like scraggly and stuff, and listen, this is like this is such a good setup for the next scene when he's all clean shaven. But I love Brendan Fraiser. He's such a good actor. Like I love everything about him in this movie. He was so great. This prison scene when we get to see him and she's like Evie, I think is her name. That's right. Rachel Weisz's character. Yeah, Evelyn. They call her Evie. That she's negotiating with the warden. There we go. And
words do be hard.
And apparently when they quote unquote hung Brendan Fraiser, like apparently he was really joking.
Oh.
They cut him down and he was like passed out. They had to like resuscitate him to get him back. So,
anything for the shot, I guess.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Oh, that poor man.
That's wild. But I love that the very next scene that Evie is talking all that shit like, oh, he's a vagabond. He's a terrible person. He's nothing but a thief and blah, 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 blah. And Brendan Fraiser comes walking.
Beautiful man I've ever laid eyes upon.
Dude. It's weird to look at Brendan Fraiser now, especially because like his first kind of big major role coming back was him in a fat suit. But now he's like 50 years old. He's putting a little bit of weight, whatever. It's cool. But it's hard to imagine that like Brendan Fraiser was like a stereotypical Hollywood leading man in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like this man, his jaw could cut glass. I mean, this is a handsome dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know. I love like, and also this next scene where we get him on the boat and we meet the other Americans and we find out that Benny's back because he's a turd. And then we have a gunfight on a riverboat because nothing says swashbuckling like a gunfight on a riverboat, and then the riverboat blows up and we're fighting masked men. And it's just, I'm telling you, it's so great. This is what I imagine. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. Go for it.
This is what I imagine if you were to describe like the perfect movie to a 12-year-old boy. and like, hey, what do you think the perfect movie would be? And he'd be like, all right, listen, first off, there's mummies, and the mummies are going to come and try to get you, but there's one guy, and he knows how to get to this ancient city, but it only shows up at this one time. And then there's like this beautiful girl, and she's like real book smart, but she's also kind of dumb, and because she needs a big, strong man to go come and do something. And then we get on this boat, and then these guys show up. They're like pirates, but they're not really pirates, and we get in a gunfight on the boat, and then it sets on fire, and they jump off the boat.
That was beautiful.
So yeah, give me an ADD 12-year-old boy and say, pitch me a mummy movie, and I guarantee it's going to be almost beat for beat this.
Yeah. Dude, the villains that were like going after them, did they feel very goofy to you?
Oh yeah.
I love that. I love when they put stupid, goofy villains in, and they're not just like the most expert. Like, they can actually do like their job and take you out. I love the ones that are just like, whoops, like you expect them in a fucking Looney Tunes movie.
Right. And the thing that's so great about these characters is that they are literally just goofy enough to be fun, but not goofy enough that you get upset at their incompetence.
Yeah.
So, like, they're unnamed henchmen. So if you have any sense about you know that they really pose no threat. So they're doing all this stuff. They're falling off. I think we even get a couple, like, you know, overdubbed screams by some production assistant who's like, "Wah!" as they're falling off the boat. And it's good fun. And we haven't even got to the point, this is something else, that we haven't even got to a point, with the exception of like in the very beginning when that one girl's booty is hanging out of that outfit. We haven't even come across anything that's like risque or like gory or anything. Like there's no like real overt piece of blood or anything like that's scary up to this point.
Yeah.
And we don't really get that until like the mummy is reborn. You know, and then even then, like a lot of the action pieces are kind of, I don't know. There's like a good 30-minute section where it's like the movie couldn't decide if it wanted to be a horror movie. Like someone in the studio was like, make it scary because it's a mummy movie. We want people to be scared. And they just kind of like, I don't know, kind of goried it up, I guess.
Well, you gotta watch him, you know, fully get his body back. Otherwise, how do you know? He's got to have some little hanging jaw and creepy looking face.
Well, not even that. It was the part where, well, that kind of, yeah. But the part where they ripped out dude's eyeballs and tongue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is such a horror movie thing that could have just been implied, or they could have made like a prosthetic, like they ended up doing anyway. You know, move that scene to Hymenoptera before we left the first time, and I think we would have got the same effect, and it would have been more Evil Dead than like tacked on. Have been like, oh yeah, cool. It's a goofy little mummy puppet or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. When we get back to Hymenoptera and we start like getting into the tombs, what did you think of the acid booby trap?
Dude, there was a lot that was going on in the tombs when they like very first started going into it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna take these massive torches. You can see that there's spider webs when I was watching this movie, I did have like a lot of moments where I was like, brain is fully in check. Some of this stuff don't make sense, because I feel like you'd be setting the walls on fire just from like, you know, it's one of those things. But some of these booby traps, I don't like the fact that ancient Egyptians used to just like casually do that, to be like, you can't rob my tomb. And it's like, why? You don't exist anymore. I don't know. I think the thought of booby traps in any situation always just like puts me a little on edge, because I'm like, why would someone do this? You know? Like, if you, I don't know. We watch some movies that I'm just like, if I was just like out walking around and somehow I like sliced off my neck because I was like running through the forest. That'd be really screwed up. Just because you don't want someone on your property? I'm sorry. I think I'm very rambly today. What did you think of the booby traps, Mark?
Perfectly tropey, fantastic.
Love that.
They were, if we are in any type of underground mummy's temple, especially, and we don't have two big walls or a ceiling that comes down to crush somebody in it, and we only get out by the skin of our teeth, what are we even doing?
You're not living.
Right. I loved them all. Even when we get into, honestly, you know what the scariest part of this whole movie is, now that I think about it, is the part at the very end when the temple is kind of sealing itself up.
Yeah.
And Benny gets trapped in the treasure room.
The Beatles!
And all them scarabs show up.
And yeah.
I know this is like the third time I've talked about these damn scarabs, but this part right here, I'm like, if you're going to set a booby trap, this is the one to set right here. Like, this is the one. Have them crush the lights, turn that off, let your flame go out. If anyone deserved it in this movie, it was him. Yeah.
True.
I also feel like it's important. We're kind of jumping around now. I'm okay with that if you are. When we get out of Hamunaptra and we get back to Cairo, and the plagues start happening, like we get the locusts and we get all that. The water turns into blood, and the fire rains from the sky.
Man, that CG.
They set a dude on absolute fire. And I loved it. Like, they were clearly had a flamethrower off screen, and they set this dude on fire, and he's like, ah! I'm like, what are we doing? I love it.
Yeah. God bless. I like all the, like, locusts that just, like, start pouring from the sky, I guess, and just, like, start flying at them. And then there's just the one dude that's just standing there just like... And he's, like, covered in locusts. It's just... That one cracked me up. I thought it was a little chilling.
And I completely forgot that this was the movie. I thought he was only in the next movie. The pilot. I thought he was only in the next movie, and I thought the whole scene with the sandstorm with the dude's face.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was in the next movie. Beautiful CGI. Probably like the most defining thing from this film, I think. I say that just now saying I forgot it all, but once I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that was this movie. I remember it was everywhere when it came out. I think that... Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the like scene where Evie is like sleeping and then the mummy like comes in and starts like kissing her, and like for whatever reason his mouth starts getting like all weird, and then she just wakes up. Cannot imagine how like absolutely disgusted you would like feel.
You mean to tell me you ladies wouldn't be into some dude kissing you with like half his jaw missing?
Oh, the way she just instantly started screaming. I was like, how do you come back from this? You just gotta like bleach your face, right? Like there's nothing about that would ever feel comfortable.
Oh man, my man was just had a scared snack.
He was smacking down.
He was nom 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 nom. What's up, baby?
No.
Anaxunamoon.
I do really like the fact that like the mummy was just essentially transporting Evie and Benny like through the sand, like almost like a little like tornado effect, I would assume. because, like, is he just carrying them? Because at some point they just get thrown out. But at the same time, I feel like that would also be very uncomfortable. Can you imagine just being like in a sandstorm? You're flying around, sand's flying everywhere. How awful would you feel, Mark?
Oh, it'd be horrible.
Every step,
I
every
mean,
move you make is just the worst feeling ever. You're just gritty and
just picture being at the beach on a windy day and feeling the sand just like sandblast your legs, and you're like, oh man, this is horrible. Picture that, but like 1,000 times worse. Yeah.
no, I don't want to picture that. That's no.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, because honestly, this was one of those movies. Like towards the end of the movie, I just got wrapped up in it, started enjoying watching the movie, and stopped taking notes. I can't lie to y'all. It was just I was like, man, this is so much fun. I'm enjoying this movie. And then we get to the end and we kill him because he's mortal, and we literally ride off into the sunset, swashbuckling, and and I'm like, oh crap, I haven't taken notes in like 30 minutes.
Hey, it happens sometimes. I did note that at the end of the movie, I was like, they were literally like sprinting as fast as they freaking could to get out of there. You're like going through mazes, trying to duck under everything so you don't get squashed by falling walls. And then they get outside and they see Homeboy on a camel, and he's just like, what's up, guys? And then they're just standing there, like, no even sorts of to be like completely out of breath and whatever. They're just like, ah, yes. I'm like, hello? Did we forget that, like, you should definitely be like panting at least just like a tiny bit. Just give me that little moment. My brain was in a weird focus of, hey, wait a second. This should be. Anyways. This is Intrusive Thoughts by Raven.
Well, I'm good if you're ready to move on. I think we've pretty much talked about it. I love this movie. I think it's great.
I guess we're gonna keep it strong and move along.
Oh man, you are on one
like
today.
I know you do.
You are on one today. All right.
Brain's fried. Please don't. Please don't.
I'm just ready to go to bed. I know the feeling. All right, let's move on to my favorite part of the week, man. Let's talk about what has made us happy this week. Celebrate the little things, big, small, big, just as long as it put a smile on your face. Raven, please tell me what made you happy this week.
You know what's crazy is I know that I had a really good thing, and it totally left my brain. And so I know that after we're done recording, I'm going to be like, oh, why didn't you say this, you dummy? But to be honest, I just had like a really nice weekend where we just kept playing like video games with a bunch of our friends. Oh, let me tell you about a fun video game that I was playing. This is probably what has made me like the most happy because it was just like so wild. Chris told me about this version of Pokemon that someone did enough mods to that you can just do instead of catching actual Pokemon, you catch animated or like anime girls that are like dressed up as that Pokemon.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
very fun. And I had a really good time, and I was streaming it for like a whole bunch of our friends, and they were playing Smite, I think. And then I'd be like, oh my god, guys, look, I just caught a Sunkern, and look how cute she is. And like, I would just hear all the guys go, oh, she looks like so cute. But it's so interesting to play. I'll have to like at some point when I'm playing it, I'll stream it for you or something just so you can watch it.
Okay.
But it's hilarious to play. And I had such a great time with it. And that honestly like really made my week because I'm gonna want to continue to keep playing this and be like, I gotta catch all the other cute little animated girls. I was playing like it was the black and white edition, so there's like a decent amount of Pokemon that are in there for them to like change over into cute little girls. I'm currently walking around with Oshawott, and she just looks so cute, and she has like a little sword that she's holding. And anyways, that's what's made me happy this week. How about you, Mark? What has made you happy?
It's been a very busy week, as I said at the top of the show, and with all of that busyness comes fun times, good things. I got three things I want to talk about. First being Alice's play, going to see Alice's play. I love those kids. You can see that they put in a lot of hard work. They didn't, comparatively speaking, get a lot of time to like really prepare for this show, but they knocked it out of the park. It was so much fun, and I couldn't be more proud of Alice and all of her friends. It was great. Yesterday, as we record this, was Free Comic Book Day, and Alice was gone most of the day doing stuff with the play because, you know, it's opening weekend and she's busy doing stuff. So me and Amy we spent all day running around and doing stuff, and we went to a couple comic book stores and took advantage of Free Comic Book Day, and it was just fun hanging out, man. We had us a big time. Amy did a count, and we ended up getting 20 comic books yesterday.
Oh.
So, yeah. It was super awesome.
What just happened?
Go ahead. What?
You were talking. What?
Oh, I thought you were coming in and saying something.
I didn't say anything. I thought you had just hung up.
No, sorry.
That was weird. Because I heard the little doo-doo-doo, which normally means you hang up. Okay.
Oh, that's weird. But so, and the big highlight for the week was, I guess it was Thursday morning. I'm at work. No, it was Wednesday morning. I'm at work. And a buddy of mine who I work with calls me up and he was like, "Hey man, listen, I'm pulling into the parking lot now. Come and meet me outside. I need you to get something out of my car for me." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I go out to his car. He pulls around like into kind of like this little, drop off area we have. And he gets out of his car and he pulls this huge cake out of his passenger seat. And he's like, "Man, it barely made the trip." And I'm like, "What? Okay, cool. We're like, where do you want me to put this? Like, who's it for?" He's like, "It's for you, dude." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's not for me. I don't, it's not my birthday. I don't need no cake." He said, "It's a Tres Leches cake. You like those. You said you like those, right?" And I said, "Yes, it's my favorite." He was like, "Cool. It's for you. My mother-in-law made it." Like, what? So he goes and parks a car. I set the cake down in my cube, and he comes back, and he got his mother-in-law to make it. For one, because I said I love Tres Leches cake, which I do, and usually it's my birthday cake, and it had like this huge strawberries on it, like strawberry. I put a picture of it on Twitter. Go follow me at Turtles Do It. And the and he got his mother-in-law to make it because I've been doing a bunch of 3D print designs for him. So he was like, "Yeah, man, here, like, it's cool. Like, she likes to make it, and, you know, I want to do something for you because you've been making these designs for me, and here." And it was awesome. It tasted so good. I shared it with a lot of people in the office. A lot of people did not know what Tres Leches cake was. They thought I was making a joke because I put in our little, group Teams messenger. I was like, hey, everyone, come down to the Cube. I have Tres Leches cake. And they were like, whatever, fake cake person. What practical joke are you playing? Yeah. And I met one of our new program managers we have, and I got to talking. And like when you start talking to someone and you realize that y'all are on like the exact same page, that happened with me and this new program manager. Like she said something and I was like, yes. And I high-fived her and I was like, did we just become best friends? Do you want to go in the garage and do karate? Which is from the Step Brothers. I don't know if she got that reference because everyone else was like chiming in with other things. But I was like, we're going to be friends.
Imagine her just standing there and being like, what did this man just say to me?
No, she was just like, she just kind of gave me that look like, I may not completely know what you just said, but you said something funny. Yeah. So I'm going to rock with it. And
that's so funny.
Yeah. So it's been a wildly fun week. I love it. Just
very nice.
Yeah. Everybody go and follow the show on our social medias. What's up?
Go do it.
Please. We are so close to 100 subscribers on YouTube. Like we are dumb close. We might hit it this week. Tracking averages of subscribers. Seems y'all really like the Fast and Furious franchise. Y'all got to get on. Y'all got to stick with us, man. Stick with us.
We'll find some other little series for you guys.
Yeah,
we got one, but
yeah, we got one. I don't know when we're gonna get to it because we got some special guests coming up that I cannot wait to talk with in the coming weeks. It's gonna be great. But go find us on the social medias. We are at Nerd for No Reason on everything. If you Google Nerd for No Reason, you are going to come with our podcast page, our YouTube, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, Blue Sky, all of the social medias. If it's out there, I have pretty much got Nerd for No Reason on there, with the exception of a very limited few, and we will never be on those platforms. But go find us. Raven, where can they find you?
You can find me over on Twitter at spooky_Raven or on Instagram at That's So Raven Ellis. Mark, give us that promotion of your own once more.
You can find me at Turtles Do It. Go there. You can see my cool cake. You can see my thoughts. And sometimes I post pictures. Instagram, Twitter, that's what's up. Whoop, whoop. We got a big show for y'all next week. We actually have a guest. Peter John Ross has made a documentary about an internet troll, for the lack of better words, an internet troll that has somehow seemingly just wreaked havoc on St. Joseph, Missouri. And it is really a good documentary. This guy reached out to us. He emailed us and said, hey, watch this. And I enjoyed it so much that I said, hey, man, why don't you come on the show and talk about it? And he said, absolutely. So we're going to talk to him next week. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the interview. And I think the podcast coming out should probably coincide with the documentary actually dropping on Amazon. So
nice.
Yes. So you guys might actually be able to like watch the documentary very close to the time that this thing comes out. So yeah.
I'm so excited for us to do this. You know I love true crime. You know I love crazy people out there.
Oh man. We're going to get into the weeds next week about this, but this story is just so fascinating. So fascinating. I can't wait to talk about it. I've made it a point to just clear off my entire calendar the evening we're going to talk to him. So, All right. Well, with all that being said, everybody, please go and do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys go ingest all the cool medias, and we'll see you again here next week at the Nerd for No Reason podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Nerd for No Reason podcast. You can find us on all major social media platforms at Nerd for No Reason. Our podcast music is Memories in 8-Bit by Deanna Joan, aka Fergie's Human. You can follow her on Twitter at Deanna Joan Music and check out her other social media links in the show notes of our podcast.